薄いのアホ。
プリズムパワーメイクアップカードレディー。
Welcome to Shojo and Tell, where we discuss shoujo manga and tell who's hot and who's not, talk about themes, and just generally geek out. Today, March 6, 2021, we'll be shoujo and telling about the first 7 volumes of Waiting for Spring by Anashin. I'm your host, Ashley McDonald, and I'm joined by Kelly Quinn Chiu. Hello, Kelly.
Hello, Ashley. I'm so excited to be back with you.
Oh my gosh, yes, it's been forever since you were on House of the Sun episode.
Yeah, it's been a minute. I think
It's been a minute.
It's been like 2 years.
Listen, we have been intending to record this podcast for one of those whole years. So
That is so true. Yes, we have.
I get a pass.
When did you originally reach out to me about?
Oh my gosh, I
recording
really
Waiting for
think it was
Spring?
like last March.
I think it was like at the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah, exactly. I thought Waiting for Spring was gonna end in a couple months. I was like, volume 13 is coming out in like May. You ready to do it? And you were like, yeah, like let's hype up. And then
Oh my god, no! I'm looking back through our conversations.
oh gosh.
we talked about it at the end of January 2020.
Gosh darn it. All right.
And then, okay, but I want our listeners to know, or your listeners really, because I don't have any listeners anymore, that this was not our fault.
This is not our fault. This is Kodansha's fault. Okay.
This is completely Kodansha's fault because they kept pushing back the last volume every time we tried.
Yeah. I would look it up and I'd be like, Kelly, you ready? And then I'd look it up again and I'd be like, damn it, it got pushed down another like 2 months. I don't understand. Plus, I found out that there was a secret 14th volume. Like, Wikipedia told me it ended at 13. I was like, that makes sense. The whole main story ended.
I trust Wikipedia for everything.
I know. And then Sarah Lindsley, who's the letterer for this series, on a different, about like Fushigi Genbu Kaiden, was like, no, there's a 14th volume. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
I love it, and also I hate that you told me that.
The secret 14th. Yeah. So we have been thinking about these basketball boys for like many moons.
I know. And like that's okay because I really love these basketball boys. But Kelly, who are you?
Out of the basketball boys? Oh my gosh.
I mean, whatever you want.
Out of the whole scene. I don't know. The basketball boys, I feel like.
Yeah, which basketball boy?
Which basketball boy am I? I want to be Ryuji because I feel like he's like actually a sweetie pie.
All right, I actually accept that answer. That's good. That's good.
What if I was like, I want to be Aya?
No, I'd hate you. You have to leave.
Because I'm like a really aggressive slut.
Ugh. I hate him. Anyway, we're gonna get there. No, but who are you generally?
Oh, who am I?
Yeah.
Oh, me. I'm a librarian.
I love it. Yes.
I'm a children's and teen librarian in California, and I used to have a bunch of writing about manga and anime and a podcast all over the internet, but then the world burned down.
Yeah.
And
we don't recognize the ruins of what was America yet.
No, yeah. In this dystopian nightmare, Barnes & Noble shut down the sci-fi and fantasy book.
Oh, did that happen?
Yeah,
I didn't even know.
They did, and put me and Bridget Alberson out of a job.
Wow, that's rude.
And as I was telling Ashley before we started recording, my podcast host got like a really hot girlfriend and stopped hanging out with me.
This is an amazing story.
So now you can find me and my hot library takes on Twitter and on this podcast.
Yes. I'm just gonna bring you back more and more as eventually you'll just be my co-host.
Okay,
Like,
that's fine.
Whatever.
Pick up an abandoned podcast host and give her a home.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. Okay, Kelly, I don't remember how I discovered that you loved Waiting for Spring, but would you like to give a plot synopsis about the basketball boys?
I would be happy to. I don't remember how you discovered either. We must have talked about it before because I was like,
talked about it after
this
House
series.
of the Sun.
Yeah, because I was like, this series is like kind of under the radar, but like as much as any shoujo series is like on a radar.
Right.
But it's like
What's a radar?
Yeah, it's so like warm and gentle. So the plot synopsis of Waiting for Spring, I feel like, is kind of underwhelming because it's like It's like a very like typical shoujo, but it's like very well executed. So basically, the main girl, Mitsuki, and makes her high school debut at the beginning of the manga, and in very shoujo-y fashion, is like, I didn't have any friends in middle school, and high school's gonna be different. I'm not gonna get involved in drama. I'm just gonna make lots of good girlfriends and like live a happy high school life. And then like, guess what? She doesn't make any girlfriends. Instead, she meets a bunch of hot boys, and they're all on the basketball team. No, so she accidentally, even though she's trying not to be one of the fangirls of the hot basketball team, gets involved with the coolest basketball boys because they come to her, this cafe where she works. So she slowly gets close to these boys, and one boy in particular, who I think we'll spend lots of time talking about in the next few
I love
minutes.
him. Yes.
And also is like trying to preserve her like new high school life and not be like one of these boys' groupies. And then in the background, she also has this mysterious childhood friend. A mysterious childhood friend who, of course, is going to reappear and shake things up with her new high school life.
Yeah. I would agree with you that like describing it by plot does it a disservice, because like I just think it is one of the most well executed shoujo manga that I've like ever read. Like, it's like, hello, I'll take all the tropes that you love and draw them in the most pretty art style and just make them all adorable. And it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, it doesn't really have like a, like I feel like a lot of shoujo have like kind of like a hooky kind of like something, you know, that's like, oh, like this series kind of reminds me of Kimi ni Todoke, or like the beginning parts of it at least. But it doesn't have that like, oh, everyone thinks she's like from a horror movie. Like, doesn't have that like that like weird hook.
Yeah, it doesn't have that like premise that's abandoned by volume 2, but you kind of like forgot about that, you know? Like,
right,
the premise is there are
exactly.
4 hot basketball boys.
Yeah, the premise is literally like a girl goes to high school and like meets hot boys.
And like it stays that way, and you're like, okay. Like, I
yeah, it stays that way. There's no like big like huge weird twists, or like they go back in time, or like someone has a secret baby, or like it's like super straightforward like contemporary shoujo. Like, I went to high school and I wanted to make friends, and instead I got a boyfriend.
We spent 3 chapters doing a school festival. Like, okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and it has all of those like super like typical moments at the school festival, the like basketball tournament, but they're all just like so nice.
They're all so nice. I know. Oh my god. Okay. We should describe our familiarity with the series, which is like, I really don't remember how I heard about it. I really think I did just like, was like, what's out in the shoujo manga lands or whatever. And I was like, this one's pretty high on like a bestseller list on Barnes and Noble, which means it's like, you know, you gotta dig into the shoujo in particular underneath all the shonen crap or whatever.
Underneath 20 volumes of Demon Slayer.
Yeah, underneath 20 volumes of My Hero Academia and Demon Slayer. you get to some shoujo stuff. And you're like, okay, it's not the one on it. It's not Sailor Moon, you know, they're not just like trying to be, you know, it's like, okay, here's something nice and fluffy. And it was on the American Library Association list for
the great graphic novels for teens. Although, like, what isn't on that list? The list is like 100 series. It's so long.
Really? I don't
know. I mean, the manga that makes it onto it is more exclusive.
Yeah. I was like, come on, it's a manga though. It's a shoujo manga. It's a shoujo all right. Manga. I'll check it out. And like, yeah, the covers looked pretty, and then I bought it, and I was like, oh my god, I love them all.
I know, they're all very cute. The covers are pretty. They're like candy colored. My toddler was like looking at the big stack that I had of them, and he was like, I want the orange one, I want the pink one, I want the blue one. I'm like, they are very nice.
You're like, but
and I was like, but they're not appropriate reading material for a 2-year-old.
Not good.
I also don't really remember how I found this series. I know I bought it for the library I was working for at the time. I think every like few years when doing like teen graphic novel stuff for libraries, you kind of are like, ooh, I really need to like refresh the shoujo romance series. They're like comes time. And then you start to peek around at what's out there, and this is one of the ones that I was like, ooh, this looks good. And then obviously I was like, it is good.
It is good. Do the children's agree? Like, is it checked out a lot?
It is checked out. I don't think it's checked out a lot. I mean, very few shoujo series do like gangbusters in the library, but like surprisingly, like Fruits Basket either does like super well or like doesn't go out at all.
Just bombs forever.
Yeah, exactly. Waiting for Spring is kind of like mid. Like it definitely goes, but it's not like always off the shelf. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I disagree. That's wrong, but
fine. I know. Well, the children are usually wrong.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you for this hard truth.
We just had to read at my library like all of Natsume's Book of Friends, and I was like, I'm sorry that our teens are so bad.
Our teens are so bad. Amazing. Yeah, like I don't know, if I had to pick some shoujo manga that deserve an anime and don't have one, like Waiting for Spring is really high on this list.
Yeah, I feel like this could have one of those adaptations that's like all like soft and like fluffy.
And then it could be exciting when they play basketball.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Could like Haikyuu the animation when they're just playing basketball.
Oh my god. Suddenly gets like so intense.
Oh my god, yeah. No, today I was at like a bar, like a restaurant, and there was real volleyball on the screen. I was like, man, this is not fun compared to Haikyuu.
Like, this is not what was advertised. That's how I feel about like real life baseball. I'm like, this is nothing.
Nothing.
Like what I know from my anime.
Anime has definitely ruined me. I mean, oh my god. Okay. But yeah, I'm like, okay, I guess I should clearly articulate why I love Waiting for Spring. Well, as I mentioned, the art is really clean and like more elaborate than I'm used to. Like those backgrounds are not skimped on, and I'm like A++. Okay. It's kind of like it's in between the art style of like a very simplistic shoujo manga and like a more literary, very elaborate mangas along the line of like Princess Jellyfish or A Silent Voice. Like it's not quite that level, but you know, it's definitely more than like what most manga artists are putting out. And I'm like, I like it. Also, everybody's hot.
Yes, everyone is hot. There are no ugly people in this manga.
There are no ugly people in this. Like every single one of them, I'm like, you are very good to look at. Mitsuki,
even like
I want
adults.
to date you.
Like Aya's mom is hot.
She was. She even said that.
Aya's mom is smoking, and she has like a high school age boy. I'm like, damn, girl.
Yeah. So like, I'm just like, I think I have a crush on all of them, and that's like, all right, that's weird. I don't know. Big age difference.
It's fine.
That's fine. It's fine. Every single basketball boy is adorable. I do have a hierarchy, but they're all like, they're pretty good. Like, you know.
Yeah. None of them are like bad.
Yeah, none of them are bad. Aya's the only one who I like. I'm like, I don't like you, but you're not bad, I guess.
I have mixed feelings about Aya.
Yeah.
We'll get to it, but like
we'll get to that.
I feel like he's both kind of like unfairly treated, but also like kind of
he's so pushy. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's no good. Yeah, everybody, and like Mitsuki is also just like excessively adorable, and I'm like, my heart goes in so many Doki Dokis.
Yeah, Mitsuki is very well executed, like kind of like every girl, teen girl,
yeah.
but she doesn't feel like she has no personality of her own. You know what I mean? Like you can definitely like self-insert into
I don't
Mitsuki.
feel like I'm like Mitsuki in a lot of ways, but I'm still like, I love you.
Yeah. She's like a sweet, nice girl.
Yeah. And like, I've been thinking more often, I'm like, I need to make like a legit top 10 of shoujo manga or something, but I'm pretty sure I would put Waiting for Spring in my top like 5.
Yeah, it's super good. It's like really like gentle and soft, and it's just like a good like coming of age contemporary shoujo. Like like we said, it's not like groundbreaking. No one's like, the world is not getting like hit by a meteor. Like no one is doing anything like super edgy, but it's just like super well executed, and it has like every trope that you like in it.
Every single one. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's no, it's not literary. Like, it's not trying to break your world. I'm like, it's just a really adorable, like, wholesome romance. Like, what?
Like it feels good to read it. Like, you know how like some series you're like, oh, I was like really enjoying this until like someone got hit by a car and then like everything went downhill, and now I feel like too depressed to read this anymore. Not talking about any specific manga, maybe.
No, not that was oddly specific.
But then when you like get too sad to continue, you're like, I can't keep reading this because I feel too sad. Like that never happens in Waiting for Spring.
No. You're just like, I need to keep going because I need to know how the adorableness keeps going. Like, oh, it's so good. Anyway, if we have sold you on Waiting for Spring and you have not read it yet, which you probably haven't because you're wrong, Waiting for Spring is available from Kodansha Comics in English, physically and digitally.
Yeah, you could get it at your local library, maybe.
That's true. Maybe. I mean, I live in Bumble nowhere, New Jersey. So.
maybe Ashley can't, but maybe you can,
yeah.
Listener.
I do feel like I looked it up and they had like maybe like the first volume. I was like, this is sad.
If you guys live in the Bay Area, you can get it from my library and add circ numbers to my copies so I don't have to throw them away like Not Space Book of Friends.
Yeah, I mean, the Bay Area library did serve me very well on the shoujo manga front, so like, good for you, Bay Area library. Good for you. Okay, but now we're gonna spoil all the things. Although, are we really? Because we're only talking about the first half.
Yeah, so. there's not actually very much to spoil it. I feel like the series in general is like
what is there to spoil?
What is there to spoil? Because you're like, oh my god, they fall in love. Like, didn't expect that.
You're like, this love triangle doesn't stay one-sided the entire time. No, you don't know where it's going. Totally.
Yeah, no idea.
No idea. Anyway, all right. So I want to start off with something, easy, like character discussion, and I want to frame it from the character poll ranking from volume 6 because I think this ranking is trash. I'm just gonna say that right now. All right, except for the Towa being number 1. Towa is the main love interest. Generic. Yes. He's very bland.
He is bland.
I love him so much.
He's bland, but he's like in a sweet way.
Yeah,
like Towa is. I feel like he gets cuter like the more he likes Mitsuki. Like once he starts getting like kind of like embarrassed and like awkward, then he like he becomes like more of like a cutie pie.
Yeah, as soon as he gets blushy, I'm like, oh my god, I'm dead now. I've died, and that's fine. I'm happy with dying. Right?
Yeah, he's not like a flashy like prince of the school type. He's like very like he seems like a chill person.
He's super chill. I want to be his friend.
He also
his girlfriend.
Maybe. He has that though, like super like painfully dense male lead kind of thing going on.
He could be denser.
where like everyone around him, with the exception of Ryuji, because he's like even dumber than him, like knows before he does that he has a crush on someone.
Yeah, and like Mitsuki's like, is this a sign? No.
Yeah, she's like, oh, he like held my hand for like an hour. Does this mean he likes me? No. Obviously not.
Obviously, they're both like, no, that's not what that means.
That's just how friends hang out.
That's how friends hang out. Yes. I mean, us humans, we're like really bad at this. That's what I've learned. But yeah, like Towa's definitely very like white bread, but like perfectly toasted white bread.
Yeah, like the perfect smear of like butter on him. You're like,
yeah, like
you're just like a staple that I want to eat for breakfast every day.
Yeah. So like I commend him, I'm like, yes, I love you very much.
Yeah, and his concerns are also like the concerns of like bread. Like he doesn't have like a weird family life or like a dying little sister or like none of that crap.
Oh yeah, no. He's just like I like basketball.
He's not like secretly rich. No. Like, he's just like I really like basketball and I try hard at it.
He's like, I practice a lot. It's very unexciting. Yeah. Oh yeah, no, he's not like a basketball prodigy either. He's like, no, I just practice.
He didn't like live overseas.
Yeah. like
someone.
somebody else in this manga. Yeah. No. Number 2 being Aya, I'm like, I can't. No. This poll is automatically trash.
I have such mixed feelings about Aya. Like,
okay, please tell me.
Okay, so Aya is like real pushy.
Yeah.
And, like too much.
Yeah.
And is totally like, I'm a flashy basketball prodigy who lived overseas. Like,
yeah, and I'm like, I want somebody to punch you, but like,
I know,
that would break the cuteness of this manga,
right?
So,
I'm like,
I don't want them to punch you.
Should wipe that smug look off your face. But on the other hand, I feel like he, like, underneath that, he does deeply care about Mitsuki. I feel like it's not his fault that she thought he was a girl.
You don't think it's his fault?
Well, I mean, he did kind of like let it go, but she was just like, you're a pretty girl. And he's like, okay.
No, I'm like, he did this so that she would do flirty things with him. And he was like, tee-hee, I'm tricking a girl, you know? It's like, that's rude.
He was like 9.
Okay. I have many mixed feelings about this gender thing. Yeah.
Okay.
I do think, do I think it's I have 2 things that I think are weak overall about Waiting for Spring.
Okay.
I do think that this gender, this like the establishment of Aya and hers connection as like something that's so deep and like mind-blowing for both of them. And like, I have difficulty based on what I am shown accepting this as a premise. And yeah, like him being mistaken for a girl and that being like a recurring pain point for their relationship and like being the betrayal, I'm just like, this feels super weird.
Okay, yes, I agree that it's very weird. Like, so yeah, I'm like, I get like she had no friends and he was like her only friend. Okay, fine, but like, but like, yeah, like continual like, but I thought you were a girl. Like, turns out you're not. Like, can't believe you lied to me. I'm like, oh my god. Like,
I'm like, okay, this is only problematic because he's so pushy as a dude. I think. And like, on the one hand, I love the manga's acknowledgement that when children are like sub double digits, like gender is kind of a farce. You know, like they can go either way. I'm like, that's fine. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
body types don't matter in little humans. But then on the other hand, I'm like, I don't.
Well, when you hear his like backstory of like why he was mistaken for a girl, like I guess I had like a little more sympathy for him, which was that like his parents are so busy they like never got his hair cut, and so he like kind of, I know I'm like womp, but like but he like got teased for being like girly because he had long hair, and so he just like stopped correcting people, which I'm like, okay, if you're like 9, then I guess that's like a thing.
Yeah, and then it's cute that he's like, oh, you know, but Mitsuki admires me for those same reasons. Like, you know, in a different context, they mean something totally different. Right. And I'm like, okay, I can appreciate those things, but then it still just like doesn't hit right in the manga.
His behavior is still bad, and Mitsuki is still like way too attached to him, in my opinion. Like, I'm like, okay, you guys were friends. Like, now it's been a while. You don't.
It's like, Mitsuki, you've got like 5 friends now. Like, you're good. You know, like,
yeah, you had 0 friends, and now you have 5 whole friends.
Listen, if you have 5 close friends, like, I'm like, dang, you're doing really good. Like,
and she also has that one girl who wants to be her friend, but is her love rival for her crush.
Yeah, she has like other casual, like friendly acquaintances. I'm like, she's fine now, you know, like she doesn't need to do other things. You don't need Aya. Like,
yeah, but then I also do feel like that Mitsuki's friendship with him when she was, and I think she admits this in like volume 6 or 7. She's like, oh, I realized my friendship with you was like really selfish because I like literally told you like all of my woes, and I like asked you like 0 things about your own life.
About your life, yeah.
Like I like don't know anything about you. I didn't even know if you were a girl or a boy.
Yeah, no, like he's just totally a blank canvas for her, and like he is kind of into it because he's like, oh, okay, like Mitsuki also, again, mistakes me for a girl, but like she doesn't tease me for it. She thinks it's super cool that I'm like this badass girl.
Yeah, 'cause I'm a
basically.
badass basketball girl.
I do think it's a bit ironic that, you know, the one who got teased, I mean, I guess it makes some kind of sense, but like he's the one who's teased for being a girl the most, and the one who like let Mitsuki do his hair. And he's like kept a hair tie that they've both kept through all of this.
Precious friendship hair tie.
Yeah, the precious friendship hair tie, exactly. But now he's like super the most aggressive of any of the boys.
Yeah,
like,
he's a lot. And like to the point that I like the other boys are kind of like, ugh. Like,
yeah. The other boys are like, please stop. Like Mitsuki's also like, hello, my hand is in front of my lips because you cannot kiss me. Like, no.
Yeah, dude, even Aya's mom cock-blocked him.
I was like, thank you, Aya's mom.
I know. I was like, yes, Aya's mom. She was like, she's not your girlfriend. You should back off. I was like, thank you, mom.
Yeah. You know, people in Aya's life are trying to tell him, like, calm down. But I think he's trying to overcompensate. You know, he's like, I need you to see me as a man now. And she's like, I do. And you really need to back up.
Yeah, I do. And you like need to get your face out of my face.
Yeah. Like, the problem is that I see you as a man and your face is way too close to mine. So, like, step
and he
back.
kind of like tricks her into like going on that date. I don't know. Yeah, he's way too pushy. Like, he's hot, but like he's too pushy.
Like, he's fine. Sure.
I like, okay, he has like the like shoulder length hair, and he does like half up like cute thing, and I'm like, I'm here for that.
You like that look?
Like, I'm here for that like look, but I'm like not here for like kissing the girls on the cheek and then being like, oh, well, I lived in America, so that's
I'm like, we don't do that in America, first of all. That's not like, true.
Also, that's like one of my most hated like manga tropes. It's like they lived overseas, so they just like kiss each other in the face all day.
You're like, this is very weird. It's not what we do at all, but cool. At least in America, I don't know. Like,
yeah,
sure.
I don't know. I can't speak for like whatever you guys do in Belgium or like...
Yeah, I don't know what you guys are doing over there, but in America, we definitely don't come up and kiss each other in the face. We might shoot each other in the face before we kiss each other in the face. I think. Like,
womp.
Womp.
Wait,
my own jokes.
No one's kissing anyone in the year of our Lord 2021.
Yeah, in 2021, what is kissing? I do not know.
What is kissing?
We have forgotten. It's a relic of manga now. Okay, so that's all our complaints about Aya. I mean, I have many complaints about Aya, but you know, I don't want to keep.
Yeah,
I don't want to keep you here all night.
To them.
Yeah, but then number 3 was Rui. Like, excuse me.
It's a very strange choice, especially because I feel like he is like the least fleshed out of like any of the basketball boys, in my opinion.
Yeah, like he's just like, hello, I'm sad Towa, and I'm like, I don't want this.
Yeah, he's kind of like slut Towa. I don't know. Like he's like good with the ladies, but like doesn't have a girlfriend and is like trying to keep up with his friends and like I don't know. Later on, we find out he like kind of likes Mitsuki, and I was like, what?
Yeah, no, that's why I'm like, he's just like sad Towa, like, because like, yeah, he's just like, oh, Towa's better than me at everything, and now he likes Mitsuki. Like, I have to like Mitsuki too. Like, maybe I can steal Mitsuki, even though it's so clear that Mitsuki is super into Towa.
Yeah, even though Mitsuki is like the least subtle about like who she likes.
Yeah, like, it's like she's not leading Aya on. Like, you know, like she rejects that guy all over the place.
Yeah, like every 6 or 7 minutes, she's like, so I don't want to date you.
Yeah, and he's like, but let's go on a date. And she's like, let's not.
And she's like, so you mean a lot to me as a friend.
Yeah. She's like, let me try a different tack.
I think maybe that's what bothers me so much about Aya, is that like he really like uses like her treasuring this memory of their friendship in like such a manipulative fashion, where she's like, I really valued like what you did for me when I was like in a very low place. And he's like, I know, so let's date.
Yeah, like he's definitely taking advantage of Mitsuki's niceness. Like, even though Mitsuki's actually really good at putting her foot down when she means things, like she can be very straightforward and cutting. And I'm like, all right, girl, you have strong feelings right now, you know?
Yeah. I liked that part where they were like gonna basketball fight over her, and she's like, please don't.
Oh yeah, she just like steals the ball and she's like, I think not. I think you should simmer down.
She's like, this is wildly inappropriate. Like, I'm right
she's
here.
Like, I'm right here. Yeah, exactly. I can see you. Like, do this in private, you know?
Yeah, you guys are being weird.
And so like Rui's both like sad Towa and like shadow Aya. Like he's like the combination of the two, and I'm like, no, I don't want that.
Yeah, he's fine. He has like one moment where I really liked him in like one of the maybe in volume 7, like the last one we're gonna discuss today, where he like sees Aya and he's like, I hate that guy. And I'm like,
oh yeah.
And I'm like, yes, Rui, me too.
Yeah, they all hate him. I love that it's just like Aya versus these 4 boys who are all like doofuses and don't understand, except maybe Kyosuke, but like
oh yeah. So speaking of Kyosuke, he's like the cool, mature boy. Right? He's like savvy, like knows
he knows
things.
about the sex.
Yeah. He's like they have him like that flashback of him like turning down some girl's confession.
Yeah.
Right. Where he's like, I don't think you could satisfy me. And they're like, what the hell is wrong
They're
with
like, oh
you?
my God. Like, that is dirty. Like,
and then like probably Ryuji is like, what is he even talking about?
Yeah. Oh, and they have the one where they like, one of them is like, oh, he's hanging out with his sister, and then Kyosuke just like kisses this girl, and then the other one's like, I don't think that's what you do with your sister.
That's so stupid. Yeah. Kyosuke, I like actually have like kind of trouble getting a read on Kyosuke like until this day. Like,
you're like, I still don't know.
Like 7 volumes and I'm still like, I don't know, like you seem like a good guy, but then also you like do stuff that's like very like
he's just
winky.
very into kinks.
Yeah, like he like kind of like just knows things and is like running his like his own kind of like little game in the background, but is also like genuinely supportive of Mitsuki. Like,
yeah, like he's like, you guys are really dumb, so I need to point you in some direction sometimes.
I know, he's like, I'm sorry that you're so stupid, Towa. Like, please get a clue and then take Mitsuki on the Ferris wheel.
Yeah. Are you sure that Mitsuki didn't want to go on the Ferris wheel with you, Towa? Question mark?
He's like, what? Do you think that's what she meant? Yes, you idiot.
Yeah. Yes. With you. And instead you went with me and Rui.
Yeah, although that was, and you know who's not even on this character poll is Reina, who I'm sure we will get to. But
we're going to talk about her.
It was Reina's fault that Mitsuki didn't get to go on the Ferris wheel with Towa.
Reina, my second most problematic character in this.
Yeah, no, but we'll get to her momentarily.
Yes. But Kyosuke, he's like, okay. Kyosuke is actually, I would keep him in the same place that he is in this poll.
Yeah, he's fine. He's like, he's necessary.
Yeah.
Because you have to have someone like smart enough to like tell the main boy that he's being too dumb.
He's like, you gotta go for it. You know, you got to use your words. Towa, I know you don't have many words, but you can say words. Like, I know you can.
You can do it.
You can do it. I believe in you. You're a good boy.
Yeah. Then poor Mitsuki, it comes in after Kyosuke.
Yeah. This ranking of Mitsuki is rude. I'm like, excuse me, Mitsuki is at least 3 in this. Possibly 2.
I feel like maybe it's like you got to think that like female readers are ranking the characters, so they're like, who's my favorite boy?
I can't. No, Mitsuki is adorable. Like, I would date Mitsuki. Like,
I mean, she's definitely better than Rui.
Yeah, she's definitely better than Rui. Come on. What are you talking about? It makes me, I definitely question Japanese readers based on this poll. I'm like, what?
Well, okay, the fact that Ryuji is on the bottom, and I'm like, you guys could just not be more wrong. I really like him. He's like so charmingly stupid.
Oh, I think, okay, to be fair, I do think that when I first read this manga, I did not like Ryuji, but there are definitely certain reasons that we cannot discuss yet because they happened in the second half of this manga where I'm like, Ryuji has really skyrocketed up my favorite characters list. Like, yeah, so he's, him and Mitsuki are duking it out for 2 and 3. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I agree that in the beginning I did not like him. Well, the boys in general are like very mean to Mitsuki when they first meet her. Like
Yeah,
when
exactly.
when I was rereading this, I like forgot like how
I did too.
mean they are to her.
I was like, this is actually like a bad meeting story, like they were genuinely jerks.
Yeah, like I was like, this is actually like very uncool. Like,
Yeah. But also very realistic to like, I think, what would happen with sports boys.
yeah, no, it definitely is. But then Ryuji, I think he's also the one who like plays the prank on her where he like Kabe dons her like against the wall.
Oh, yeah.
And is like, come to my game. And she's like, oh, okay. And they're like, Mitsuki's a sucker. Like,
Mitsuki, you need to learn to say no to boys. Like,
and I was like, you guys are being too mean. She's like so delicate. She can't take this.
Yeah. Generally the portrayal of like sports camaraderie, I really actually did appreciate because like those types of scenes, I was like, these are very realistic. Like to them, they're just very funny and innocuous. But then to other people, if they're not in the same headspace, they come off as like very, very aggressively inappropriate and aggravating, right? Like you just like blow up in their face.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're just like 15-year-old boys, right? It's like,
Yeah.
They're not exactly considerate.
Yeah, but then I do appreciate the ways that they portray in the beginning, how they portrayed their considerateness. Because, okay, I mean, I'm coming at this from the angle of like, I played ice hockey for many years of my life on boys' teams. Like at this age, I was on a men's team.
Wow.
Yeah, at like 14, I guess, like a little bit younger. Yeah,
I didn't know that. That's very tough of you.
Yeah. Well, so there was an incident that happened with them that made my parents be like, no, you have to play with girls now. And I was like, okay. It's not like terrible, but it did like break me a little bit. Yeah. So like it was basically, it's a very annoying story. But yeah, so I mean, I'll tell it because I feel like it illustrates.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Kind of the points that I'm making overall about these basketball balls.
I'm ready for this hockey confessional.
Yeah. So like in general, what went wrong with that team was that we were supposed to be an under 16 team. Again, I was 14 going on 15. So we were supposed to be like 14, 15, and 16-year-olds. But 2 of the older boys got cut off of the 18 and under team. So then at a practice in which I was not present, they decided to play under 18 instead. So we were mostly 14, 15, and 16-year-olds playing against like 17 and 18-year-olds. So they just like destroyed us the whole season,
yeah,
right?
It sounds really bad.
Right. But then I was the scapegoat because I was the only girl. So they were like, oh, well, we suck because we have a girl on our team. And I'm like, you suck because we're in the wrong division. Like,
you're like, you suck because you're like a head shorter than the other team.
Yeah. I'm like, it's because we are like 5 years younger than you. It doesn't make any sense. Because, there was like one other team that foolishly also decided to do this. And I was like, we beat that team every time we played them. You know why? Because we would have been a good under 16 team. So it's just like, a lot of contention going on there. But like the seed of how it happened was actually out of consideration, right? Like I understand that they were actually trying to be very nice to the 2 under 18-year-olds who got cut off from the other team. But at the same time, I'm like, so they weren't good enough to play under 18 and you decided to take them on when we were even younger. Like, it's like, it's like the logic is there, but they don't see it. Right. So then they like scapegoat into me. And then like, that really came to a head in a practice where like our head coach wasn't there and the other goalie was hurt. I'm a goalie. So we had 2 goalies. The male goalie wasn't, he had like hurt his groin or something. So he was there.
Boys.
But yes, exactly. So he was there, but he was skating out and not like actually practicing. So all of that came to a head. Like I didn't get changed with them or anything. So I was in my own locker room. So apparently in the locker room, they had decided they were like going to harass me and like shoot at my head on purpose and stuff. So like I realized that and was like, oh, this is mean. And like neither of my parents had stayed for the practice, so then like I just got in the car and was like sobbing, and my
It's
mom was
so
like, "Oh my
sad.
god, like what is happening?" Yeah,
I hate this story, Ashley.
I know, no, yeah, that's why they were like, "This is really terrible." So like you have to play with girls now, but like it's like I understand, like yeah, like the seeds of in ways that there actually are considered, because like sports boys always come off as like nice, and it's like in some ways they are really nice, like. I'm thinking particularly in this manga of the incident of like when the little kid in the cafe spills the coffee onto Towa's jacket, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, no, you don't have to pay for it, little kid's mom. Like we're just trying to make the little kid happy and stop crying, and like it's fine. We're gonna make Mitsuki over here clean it up." And Mitsuki's like, "Oh my god, no, I can't clean this up." And they're like
rude.
yeah. Mitsuki's like, "This is rude to me," and they're like, "Shut up, stupid. We're trying to make her feel better." It's like,
yeah, they are definitely
like,
like
double-edged
jocks.
sword of like jocks niceness is like very hard to understand, I think. But like I think this manga actually portrays it really well before it gets all like just goes super sweet, right? Like
before
now
it gets
like,
mushy.
Yeah.
So I did dance, like competitive dance through high school, so it was like all girls. Totally different dynamic.
Girls are vicious in a different way.
Yeah. It was like, man, don't you think her costume is like really ugly? Like, ugh.
Yeah, like, ugh. The politics of women's hockey is just different from men's hockey. I'm like, they are both vicious. Like, it's just
in different ways.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay. Like, at least with men, I feel like they're more straightforward normally. Like, you know when they're mad, you know when they're happy, like, they're gonna pull silly pranks on you, and it's all fun and games when you're in on it, and then the one that pisses you off, like, you're gonna like flip out, like that's perfectly exactly what's gonna happen. And girls are all like nice to your face all the time, and you're like, no, but I know you hate me. Like that.
Well, it's interesting with the boys because like they do start off with that kind of like jockey, like, we're just pranking her, like we think it's hilarious, we're so funny, we think we're so funny, and then like the interesting thing is that like Mitsuki like gets to know them in this kind of like offbeat, like back channel way. And then it's like kind of implied that like the other girls who are their groupies like don't know them really.
Well, that's another considerate moment, is that like, she had asked them to be like, okay, fine, we got off on this bad foot, but like, can you need to make it up to me, so like you need to promise not to bring your groupie fangirls here, like I don't want, this is my place,
my happy spot.
And then they like hide in the bushes and like pull her in with them to make sure they don't give away their location, and she's like, this was still rude, but they also like fulfilled my request, so I guess maybe it wasn't rude. Like she's very confused, right?
I guess we're cool now. Well, then she kind of gets like pulled into like part of the group, and so then she isn't really like the object of their like pranks as much anymore.
Yeah, they're all in on the prank.
She's like in the jock bubbles.
Once you get accepted, it's nice. That's what's saying.
Yeah, exactly. Like, not saying these are like mean boys, but like they definitely have that thing going on.
They have that thing going on. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So, Ashley, I didn't think about this until I saw your outline for this episode. Like Ryuji as like a foil for Aya did not occur to me. And then once I started thinking about it, I was like, oh.
You see it though, right?
Yes, I do.
Because like Ryuji's the one who's always like, no, boundaries, I have them. like he's forceful, because he's the one who kicks off this whole manga being like, I wanted to confess to Nana-san. And then they bring out Mitsuki instead, and he's like, she is not a goddess, how dare you.
Very insensitive of him.
Very, very insensitive of him. So, like, that's where it's like, all right, Ryuji, you got off on a bad foot. I think it's actually masterful that this manga makes you like him by the end. I'm like, that's actually really great. And I like what happens at the end, but we'll get there next time. Yeah, so then, like, Ryuji's very forceful. He's, like, actively pursuing Nana all of the time, right? That's why they go to the cafe.
That's why they go to the cafe, so that he can see his goddess.
Yeah, just like all the time. But he's also just like, no, I understand where the boundaries are. I don't talk about women like they're objects, like Kyosuke. And just like, he's really, really lovely in that way. And I'm like, oh, yeah. And then freaking Aya over here is just like, what if I try to kiss Mitsuki all of the time in front of all these boys and give and like people call Mitsuki my girlfriend. And I'm like, yep. And she's like, no. Like, how dare you spread these lies?
They're just childhood friends. Yeah. Like Ryuji he like well, I wonder if it's also because like how old is Nana-chan supposed to be?
Okay, if I remember correctly, so Ryuji is what, maybe 16?
Yeah, maybe like 15 or 16. There's a second year. I think.
Okay,
no,
so
is he a third year?
No, he's a second year.
He's a second year. Okay.
So he must be 16 or 17 then. I'm pretty sure Nana is supposed to be like 19 or 20.
Yeah, I think she was like college age, right?
Yeah.
So she's not like, it's not like wildly inappropriate that he's like pursuing her, but it also is like there's like a maturity gap, right, where she's like an adult and he's like in high school. So you know, he's like pursuing this like quote unquote older woman.
Totally.
You know, but so I feel like there's a little bit more of like that boundary there, like naturally. But yeah, he like pursues her in a way that's like, it would be really cool if you like wrote me a nice note.
Yeah. Please.
Right? Or like came and watched my game, or like I'm gonna like respectfully sit at this table while you like do your job.
Yeah. Like he's never trying to like push it to an extent where like in these volumes Kyosuke is like, maybe you should push it a little bit. Like,
yeah, he's like, are you even trying?
Yeah.
Like she comes with them too to the amusement park and he's not like shoving her into Ferris wheel cars or like,
like he's not trying to do anything sneaky.
He's just like along for the ride, like hanging out, waiting to be noticed by her.
Yeah, and he knew. I did love the chapter where they basically the whole thing is just, where should we go? And then they start fantasizing about each other in swimsuits, and they're like, we cannot go to the beach though. Like, we can't do that.
This cannot not be allowed to happen.
This cannot be allowed to happen. Too many people will see. I will be too horny. It's not allowed.
I know, which I'm like, okay, you're like 16, so I guess like fair. But yeah, he is very respectful compared to Aya, which is not hard.
Not hard, yeah, because Aya puts the bar pretty low. But I'm just saying, Ryuji came in last in what we were told about this poll, and Aya came in second, and that is hella wrong.
It's wrong. I agree.
Wrong.
It's wrong.
Wrong. Okay. We did talk about Nana-san a little bit. I'm like, should we do Reina now?
Yeah, let's do Reina.
Okay.
Reina.
Reina is Mitsuki's best friend, and she is for Joshi, just like straight up. She's like, I can't let any of the girls be into the basketball boys or get too close to them because I ship them all together. Basically.
Yeah, not because I want to date them, but because I do not want my fantasy to be shattered.
She's writing active fan fiction about them, and Reina is definitely perhaps the thing that I hate the most about this manga.
Reina is the character who's most like a caricature, I feel like. Like she's like an anime character.
Yeah, she's definitely just like over the top in a way that nobody else in this manga really is.
And she gets to have that place as Mitsuki's BFF that I feel like is like pretty standard of like a shoujo romance lead's BFF, where she kind of is like a little sarcastic and a little like more perceptive than like the lead herself, you know?
Yeah.
And she kind of gets to like have that little like be able to like give her a push in the right direction at like sometimes, or like help lead her into new situations. But then she has like the fact that she's not just like her friend, but she's like the Fujoshi.
Super Fujoshi.
But it's not, it's like the real person. I don't know. Okay. Maybe this is just like a thing for me. Like this is my like line in the sand, I guess. Is like the real people shipping for me. It's like I don't want to like yuck anyone's yum, but like yikes. Like
yeah, no. I'm like, this is definitely a line too far. Like the fact that, you know, we live in a world where fan fiction based off of Harry Styles or whatever became a book that's now like a movie. I'm like, that.
Wait,
I don't want to
what?
live in this world. You don't know about this?
No. What's happening?
Oh,
Help.
God. I'm pretty sure it's Harry Styles. The books after, have you heard of them? They're like trashy romance novels.
No. Oh my
Oh,
God, I'm so out of the
you work
loop
in
on this.
You work in a library. Kelly. Don't you
I know,
know
I'm
this?
both fascinated and horrified.
I'm pretty sure it's Harry Styles or like a Jonas Brother.
Oh my God.
Let me just look it up really fast.
I mean, like I know my share of like fan fiction based works, but
Okay,
this was not on my
It's
radar.
Harry Styles, and it's called After, and it's like she, because Harry Styles was part of whatever boy band. I'm sorry,
One Direction?
Yes, I know. I'm sorry. Yes.
Sorry.
So Harry Styles was part of One Direction, so she's just like writing One Direction fan fiction, but then it became, a legit novel. And then it became like a movie. And I'm like, I don't want to live in this world where like we've legitimized real people fan fiction, like to any degree. Like I don't want it.
Or like
in any way.
maybe this is like also a product of times, but I like the K-pop, like RPF, like real people fan fiction. I'm like, please stop.
Oh yeah, is that really rampant in K-pop? I could see that.
Yeah, I believe that it is.
Oh.
I live like very on the fringes of like K-pop fandom, and by that I mean like, what did Spotify serve to me in my K-pop
What did Spotify
playlist,
say I would like
this week? And I have friends who are like more into the K-pop world, and I'm like, this is like, these are like real humans. This is for me not okay.
Yeah, this is not okay. And like I feel like generally everybody in my circle agrees with that right now, and I'm like, okay, so why is it still like gaining traction? Like we need to stop in the right now before it's too far,
Yeah, it's already too far.
It's already a little bit too far, yeah. So I'm like, I don't like Reina, yeah, because I feel like she's like kind of supposed to be like the funny intersection of some shoujo trope, like she's supposed to be the girl who's like, no, we can't, none of us can date the boys because the boys are for everyone, but then she like the fujoshiness is supposed to be like a haha funny sly,
right? Not because
turn
I
on
want to
it.
date them, but because
Yeah.
I want them to date each other.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, it makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, I still do not dig it. I'm not into it. And also, Reina, like, there are moments where I like her and find her like funny, but I'm like very not into how that aspect of her character like interacts with Mitsuki's crush on Towa. Like, she's like very like not supportive.
I don't even think she notices. That's why, right? Like,
I can't tell if it's like she doesn't notice or she's just like in
like
hella
actively
denial.
Yeah.
Like she's the one. Okay, so first of all, how dare she mess up their Ferris wheel date? And I feel like that is her being oblivious, where she's like, let's put all the boys together so I can look at them better.
Yeah. So I can take pictures of them from a different car. Suddenly, yeah.
I'm like, okay, Reina. And then, but then like when the other, I do not remember the name of the other girl, the girl with the black hair.
Maki, I think.
Yeah, something like that. Shit. Her name comes up so infrequently that I'm always like,
yeah, I know.
The basketball girl.
The basketball girl, exactly.
So when like she talks to Reina about it, she's like, I really think that like Mitsuki might have a thing for Towa. And she's like, no. And I'm like, have you like been here for 7 volumes? This is like literally all this girl does.
Yeah, like all she does is hang out with Towa. When she's not hanging with you, it's like Towa or you two together. Like you didn't see
right?
it.
It's like, dude, have you like checked the contacts on her phone? It's like you and Towa. Like, that's it.
It's the only text conversation she has. Sometimes Aya appears. Oh my god, yeah.
So yeah.
So Reina is like, yeah, there are definitely moments where I'm like, okay, Reina at least is being a good friend, but overall I'm like, no.
Yeah, like there are times I like her, and like I like how she is supportive of Mitsuki in like in her goals to like have female friends.
Yeah.
But
that's
like
nice.
Her portrayal as like a fujoshi is like a little bit of a sore point to me.
Yeah. And I'm like, I do think that this is supposed to be a take on how like sports anime are the thing that Fujoshi flock to, but I'm like, this is too far. No, I don't accept this commentary.
Yeah.
On Fujoshi girls.
Not into that kind of. Because it I guess maybe it also bothers me because her portrayal as like a Fujoshi doesn't feel to me like it's coming from like a kind place. Like,
oh yeah,
do you know what I
like,
mean?
It's still derogatory.
Like it like feels derogatory. Like, oh, look how weird she is.
Yeah, like it's really actually hard to pin which way we're supposed to feel, because like she is a really good friend of Mitsuki, but then yeah, like when she gets like really crazy, she's like excessively drooling and it's very unappealing, or like she's gonna like cut people with a knife she got from the baking club that they were gonna use on a pie, and it's like, all right, what's happening right now?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I
I'm
cannot
not sure
get behind this person.
where she lies. Like, she's like too cartoonish to like feel, I don't know. For me, she just like doesn't jive with the rest of the cast as much.
Yeah, no, because she doesn't. That's just facts. So Reina, like, if I had to pick one thing to remove from Waiting for Spring, it would be Reina.
Yeah, or maybe just like remove certain aspects of her personality.
Yeah. Just like tone that way down, all the way down here. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe if she was like a basketball fanatic, or just was like, you know, into the boys' basketball team. But I don't know.
That's true. But no, that's not what's happening. No.
That's not what's happening. Although we should talk about not like a character, but like as a mob of characters. Like the groupies.
All of the groupies?
The groupies as like a single entity.
What would you like to say about
them? I just like love this trope. Like not just like shoujo, but like manga trope in general, where it's like everyone loves the boys' basketball team, and like all these girls just like come to the practice and just watch.
That's true.
And they know everything, and they come to every game. And like,
it's giving me weird ideas of like what happens in Japan. I'm like, this does not happen in America.
I feel I'm like trying to like think back to like my like middle school and high school days, which I have probably like mostly blocked out at this point.
No, there's no way. Like maybe football. Maybe.
I feel like there were like girls who like went to like the boys' games if they like had a crush on someone, and they would like go.
Yeah, like.
But like the idea that like literally like 50% of the females in the school like do nothing but watch the boys' basketball practices. And then they're all like also like secretly like bad fans because they are like, this game is boring when they're losing, you know?
Yeah. No, like I don't know. I'm going back to my ice hockey experience, and it's like, okay, that's not comparable really, because we had to go to different rinks to play at which were not close to school, right? But like, yeah, it's like, okay, there are definitely like girls who came because they want to, you know, have some sex with some hot hockey boys. Like I get it, but hockey. Like, hot hockey boys. Listen, they were hot. I don't know. Like, whatever. So like I get it, but I'm just like, yeah, no, I've never seen like a gaggle of girls just like go to any sports game and then also hate the sport.
Also, I'm like, where were these girls when Mitsuki was like painting that banner by herself?
Being selfish, doing their homework, eating lunch. I don't know.
I also like that this is like another like semi-beloved, semi-hated manga trope of mine. It's like they worked so hard that they like got sick. Yeah.
No, going to Japan, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, like these people just don't sleep. That's what I've learned.
It's like I was painting the sign all night, and then I like passed out. And the sign has like 3 letters on it. Like, what are you painting all night?
That's true. In Japanese, it would be like 3 different kanji. Right. I don't know.
It's like, what have you been doing? Anyway, you tried really hard, Mitsuki.
Playing games on her phone.
We're so glad you tried so hard for these boys. You did good.
And then it's like a pathetic little sign, too. It's really funny.
Yeah, and then they're like, there's our sign. It's like minuscule.
Oh, Mitsuki. Such a tryhard. I love it. Oh my god. Do you have any other favorite scenes that we didn't already bring up?
I feel like all my favorite scenes are like the Mitsuki Towa scenes. Like,
I mean, of course they are.
like, okay, every time they're like on the train together, I'm like, oh,
I'm like, yes.
Like he like is like shielding her on the train, which is like, I don't know. That's for me that I'm like, ooh, that's so nice. And then I wrote this in our outline, but like one of my favorite tropes ever appears in this manga that like Mitsuki goes to walk away and Towa like grabs her hand, but then he's like, why did I do that?
I don't understand.
I don't understand. My hand just reached out on its own and grabbed her wrist. And she's like, what? And he's like, I don't know. Like, I just didn't want you to go. And I'm like, I love that.
And they're both like, oh, okay, that's weird. Don't know what that could possibly mean.
When I was like flipping through the volumes like this afternoon in preparation to talk to you, like just to like try to remember what volume things happen in, I was like, man, there are like a lot of like PDA moments between Towa and Mitsuki, like all the time, like more than I remembered. Mm-hmm. And like he's always like holding her hand, giving her that towel.
Oh yeah, the towel.
The towel. I love the towel scene because it's like so, it's like cute because of the way it's drawn, but like also like so unromantic and like what it actually is.
Yeah, I'm like, that's a grody towel.
Right? Like the way that it's drawn is like, I think it's like a 2-page spread of him like holding her and like putting the towel on her hair. And it has like the big like doki doki moment, like, and then you're like, he just like put this dirty towel on her.
And then she cleans it for him because she's a good girl.
She washes it.
Like she got it dirty. Like, okay, sure.
Like all the like scenes of them, they're like holding, they're like, can I squeeze your hand? I'm like, you guys are so dumb. Like you're so like charmingly stupid about like how much you like each other.
No, that's what's great about the towel is that when she goes to give it back to him, she forgets that she's like giving it back to him because she runs into all of them, right? Like Aya's there, he like messes up the flow. And so then he holds, like, Towa holds out his hand to be like,
oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm going to take the towel. And she, like, goes and squeezes his hand. And he's like,
out.
I just wanted the towel.
Oh, my God. Yeah, but I feel like all of those moments they're cute, especially because Towa is so, like, he's so, like, quiet, you know, and, like, reserved as a main love interest. And so it's, like, it's all those moments are so nice when he kind of, like, takes initiative. And it also like takes him forever to figure out like why he's doing it.
Yeah. And then by volume like 6, he's like running up to her purposefully being like, hey.
I also love the wristband drama.
Wristband drama. It really is very big.
It's like a very important feature of the plot of Whispering these ridiculous.
It's going to become even bigger in the second half.
The wristband drama, which is for listeners who don't recall, they like all the boys have these special basketball team wristbands, and it's like the lucky charm for them to like get someone to write on the inside of them. Like Towa asks Mitsuki, and she's like a dum-dum, so she's like, I guess he just thinks that someone should write it. You know, she like doesn't see it as a signal, and I don't think he does either because he's also like charmingly dense.
Yeah. He's like, Mitsuki's here. All right.
Yeah, he's like, oh. So she like writes on the inside of his wristband, and then the other girl wants him to write on her wristband, and I'm like, oh my God.
And then she finds his wristband because he got blood on it.
Finds his wristband in the laundry, and she knows that he likes someone else.
Drama.
Yeah, I was like, yes. Oh, also another underrated scene so they go back on the Ferris wheel.
At Kyosuke's prodding,
because Kyosuke is like, do you think that she wanted to go with you? And he's like, what?
Like, whoa, that's a deep concept. Let's go test it out.
Yeah. Then to his credit, he does, right? He takes the initiative, and they have their little like moment inside the Ferris wheel. And then they're kind of like getting like a little like cozy with each other. And then like the ride stops, right?
Yeah.
Favorite underdog character of the series, that ride operator.
Yeah.
He's like, ugh, and then he's like, another one.
Yeah.
And I'm like, to this shoujo manga Ferris wheel ride operator, this is like his entire existence.
He's like, nothing new, kids. Move along.
I know. He's like another two kids trying to like fumble towards each other inside a Ferris wheel.
So silly.
Okay, also, when Mitsuki makes them the cookies that are like their faces. What is that about?
What is it? Who thought that was a good idea?
I'm like, is this a cute or weird gift? Like, would you feel weird if someone gave you a cookie that was your
I would
face?
not like that. I would be like, what's wrong with you? Just make me a normal cookie, like a normal person one day. Like,
right?
Yeah. Make me a cookie of Towa, you know? Like, make me a cookie of my favorite characters, not of me. What are you doing?
Yeah, I was like, you are charmingly weird, Mitsuki. This is like a strange thing to do.
Like, what's wrong with you?
I know. Then she like loses Towa's cookie.
She needed to know which one was for you. She's like, I put all my love juju into the Towa one.
into the Towa face cookie.
Yeah. Oh my god, Mitsuki, yeah.
Yeah, that's a weird one, but no. All my favorite moments are Towa Mitsuki moments. I feel like I really like how he's like kind of assertive, even though he like doesn't even know that he likes her for like most of the time.
Yeah. I do really like when he like finally is catching on. He was like, you know, like in volume 7, I guess, after the festival, they finally let Mitsuki wear a Hawaiian dress. She was in a shirt before, and they were like, all the girls are wearing dresses, and she's like, I didn't have one in my size left, I'm sorry. And then they're all like, oh, Mitsuki, you're so cute in your dress. And then Towa's like, yeah, you are cute. Okay. Towa, now you're coming.
I know,
like,
suddenly I'm like
coming in hot.
I like, so like part of the purpose of Aya is to kind of like spur Towa on, right? Because like, yeah, he kind of needs that like push from Aya to like realize he has to like do something.
Yes, the classic oh wait, I only noticed this girl because somebody else wanted her and I don't like that.
Yeah, it's like it makes me feel like weird in my tummy when someone else holds her hands. Like, what does this mean? And so for like a little bit of the manga, I was kind of like, oh, is he kind of just being like competitive and doesn't really like understand his feelings for her? But I like really feel like that's not the case. Like by the time he confesses in volume 7, I feel like he is very sure of his feelings and he's not just like trying to stick it to Aya. Yeah.
Did you like this scene overall? Because I'm like, Mitsuki, what the hell? You know how you feel about Towa and you did not make it clear. And
my God. Yes. He's like, I like you. It's like a whole, I like have to get the volume. I like have it right next to me. It's like a whole page of like his face, like saying, I like you. And she does not respond.
She's just like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah, she does not give him a response right away. Yeah, it is a full page. They're like sitting on the windowsill and it's like only one speech bubble. And the speech bubble is, I like you. And her response is, what?
What?
It's like, Mitsuki, you have liked him this whole time. Can you just say, me too?
Yeah. They have a whole conversation after that, and she never is just like, oh, yeah, I totally crush on you too. Because she gets distracted by him giving back the hairband that she lost at Aya that he had, like, torn off her hair.
I know. Aya's such, like, so scummy in that way where he's like, oh, could you give this back to Mitsuki? Like, she left it at my house. And I'm like, why are you such a skeeve?
And he's the one who took it off of her, like, too. Like,
yeah. But yeah, she gets all distracted and she does not give him an immediate response. And I'm like, Mitsuki, you're really blowing it for me in this. I mean, it's only like halfway through the series. So like,
yeah, they were like, we need to pad this for 7 more volumes.
We need seven more volumes of Mitsuki being like, oh, I can't believe I never said I like you too. Well, then there's also like the like boondoggle of like the basketball team can't date.
Yeah. That's the arc we're entering now. Is but the basketball team cannot date though. So how is this going to work out?
Also, the reason the basketball team can't date is like, it's so dumb.
You think it's so dumb?
Well, I mean, isn't it just because like, oh, some upperclassmen like a few years older like got too involved with their girlfriends, and that's why like they banned
Weren't
it.
serious enough about basketball. Basketball is your first love.
Oh my god, I love that aspect of the series. Like it, like this isn't a sports series, but also like, is it?
I think it is.
like she doesn't play basketball, but like they all play basketball, and like most of their time is spent like talking and thinking about basketball.
There are legit basketball tournaments that happen throughout this manga, at least two.
And she's like, it's interesting because like she's like, her role in this like in the sports aspect is like, I want to support them with my whole heart. She doesn't play. Like,
yeah.
I
love when she gets drawn in a basketball uniform though. Very cute.
Yeah, it is cute. But yeah, so she's not like involved in the basketballing, but yeah, they're like, basketball is so important to us. Like basketball, like truly
basketball is life.
The main love rival for Mitsuki is like basketball.
Yeah, no, really though.
Like, it really is. Like Towa's like, ooh, I like you, but also like basketball.
He's like, but I've been training my whole life to basketball.
Right.
You cannot derail my life.
But yeah, so they're like, the basketball boys can't date because like the upperclassmen all got girlfriends and they like didn't take it seriously.
Not serious about basketball.
Like, this is a very like silly rule for like a high school basketball team.
Like, y'all are not professional basketball players.
Even professional basketball players can date.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like they're gonna get distracted. So I'm like, okay, fine. I mean, like, I'm sure they would get distracted because they're like 16, but yeah, the basketball boys can't date.
The basketball boys cannot date. How will we resolve this? Find out next time on Shojo and Tell.
Right? How do you enforce this rule?
Yeah. No, this rule is asking for trouble. It's asking for secret dating.
Right? I'm like, aren't they just going to date? Like, wouldn't anyone just don't? Like date? Well, they don't. But like, wouldn't anyone just date secretly?
That's what this manga is so upstanding that they don't.
I know, like, we can't. Basketball is too important.
Basketball is too much life. Yeah.
Oh, these poor kids.
Oh my god, they're so innocent and lovely. Oh, I love it. Okay. I think we said most of the things that we wanted to say. The only thing left is a mini shipping corner, since you know, we haven't hashed out really.
Mini.
It's mini because it's more like, who do you want to end up together? Like, who you rooting for? Next time it will be like, oh my god, did all your dreams come true?
Like, did they?
Did they? We don't know. I don't know. Like, at this point in the story, especially reading it the first time, were you rooting for Nana and Ryuji? Were you like, yeah, Ryuji stands a chance?
No. I was like, Ryuji stands no chance, and he's never gonna make it with Nana.
That's fair.
I was like, she's never gonna go for him. She just pities him.
I also thought that. I was like, no, I kind of really want Nana to also like stand her, you know, like in the way that I don't know, if we compared it to Kimi Todake, like the problematic student teacher thing actually resolved really well and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, like that.
Like that. Yeah, I think I feel like once I don't remember when we learned this. I'm pretty sure it's in these volumes. We learned that like Nana-chan had some kind of like sad love backstory.
Yeah.
Right? So she like had a crush on someone who's like older than her, and it like didn't work out. Then like once you kind of learn that she has like some like sad love trauma, that I'm like, okay, so maybe. Like at that point I was like, maybe this is gonna work out for you. But no, I thought he stood no chance.
That's fair. I also thought that.
I do like when I think Rui sees Nana-chan and Kyosuke together, and he's like, a perfect couple.
No.
And I was like, so rude.
That I don't like it. No.
He's like, Kyosuke looks so mature. I was like, does he?
Maybe I just don't like Maganes. I don't know. Not into it. Obviously we don't ship Mitsuki and Aya. Like,
no. Every once in a while I'm like, Aya
No.
could be nice.
mm-mm.
He's got that kind of like shoujo romance, like sweep you off your feet kind of thing.
No.
But then he like does something that's so like skeevy, like the next minute. Like so skeevy that even his mom is like, back off.
Yeah. Aya, too fast. Slow down. Pump the brakes. Yeah.
Right?
Like,
when even your mom is like, dude, yeah.
yeah.
I don't support it. And I
Do
don't
you-
think you're meant to. Like I feel like the manga
You don't think you're
itself-
meant to?
I don't. Love triangles are always tough, right? Because it's like a love triangle is hard. Like is actually hard for the reader when you're like, but they're both good.
Yeah.
And like I don't know. Like I feel like it's always like you always are meant to see Towa as like the main love interest and Aya as like the love rival, not really as them as like an equal triangle.
So do you think people like him a lot because he's like sad underdog? Is that like his main appeal? Is that he'll never get the girl?
I feel like maybe it is. Like I don't know, like right? Like I feel like the manga is not set up in a way that's like who's she gonna choose? Like even though
No,
like
it's
even though
not,
that is
yeah.
part of it, it's like she will be with Towa, but like
Yeah.
this love rival will like spend a lot of time getting in the way.
Yeah. Well, because it spends a lot of time being like Aya is like the more logical choice in a lot of ways, right? Like she has the established connection with him. He's better at basketball as much like that seems to matter for some reason.
Hotter.
Yeah, like taller, hotter, whatever. You know, like star. He's the star
Studied in
basketball player.
America.
And Towa's just a nobody. So you know, it's a very classic like like Towa almost is supposed to be the underdog, but he's not. Like it's always clear that Mitsuki
It's
likes
always
him.
clear that she likes him and that Aya is like, well, like the childhood friend like never wins. Like,
Poor childhood friend.
I know. It's like,
Go,
sorry, Aya, but you just can't compete with the new hotness.
Yeah. Come back in 10 years when she gets tired of the new hotness. You know, like be the new hotness.
Yeah, there's like a few times that I feel bad for Aya. Like one of them is like when he's at the school festival and he's like I wish I could go to school with you, and I'm like, yeah, because maybe then you would have a chance. Yeah.
Yeah, you picked the wrong school. Silly.
No, idiot. You should have known.
Yeah. Figure it out sooner. Yeah, but so like Aya's presented as the more like, oh, it makes way more sense, but the heart is like fickle, so she loves Towa.
Yeah.
And I ship Mitsuki and Towa very hard. I love them.
Yeah, I ship them as well. I feel like Towa's other like rivals and love interests are like kind of like weak. Like
He doesn't even notice
her.
her.
He literally does not notice the basketball girl. Like I don't even know if he knows her name.
He doesn't. They told him it too, and he's just like, "Who's this person again?"
He's
Oh
like,
yeah,
the who? And then he has like the thing where he's like, where Rui kind of tells him that he likes Mitsuki in like a very like what way?
yeah. What?
Yeah, I'm like, wait, really? You showed like literally zero signs of liking her until like 6 panels ago. And he's like, oh, okay, like, but I guess Towa, if it was you could make her happy. And I'm like, okay, I guess you don't like her that much. So yeah, I feel like Towa doesn't really have like Aya is the only thing standing in his way. And basketball.
No, truly, he like wants to be worthy enough for Mitsuki, right? And he doesn't feel that way, so he's like, all right, we got to do this the right way. I got to beat Aya. I got to obey the basketball rules.
I must beat Aya. It's so true. We need to go through the proper channels. First, I must defeat your childhood friend in basketball
first,
or our relationship will never be legitimate.
Yeah. It's true though. He's like, I must be worthy of you. A classic.
It's like so funny too, because like I don't think Mitsuki cares at all.
Yeah, Mitsuki's like, I really don't actually care that much about basketball. Like, can we kiss now? Like, I don't.
Right. She cares and that she like wants them to succeed because she like cares about them, but like I don't really think she cares like whether
Give a
Towa is
crap
like
about basketball.
better than Aya at basketball. She's like, oh, he's good. Like she doesn't even like know.
She's like, he's in a magazine. Interesting.
She's like, that's cool. Is it important? Like,
Yeah,
she doesn't know. Doesn't care.
Doesn't care. And I'm just like, y'all don't see that? Really? All right. You know, she doesn't care.
Yeah,
Ugh.
but Towa has to he has to make peace with himself.
Yes, he does. He has to learn. Basketball's been his whole life. He knows. Like, he needs to make room in his heart for.
I know. I'm like, truly, like, do these boys do anything else? Like, every flashback we have of them as kids is like when we played basketball.
No, they don't do anything else. Although that was one of my favorite scenes was when they were like, oh, we became motivated by like Ryuji was like, man, we were bad at basketball. We need to get better. We need to give up video games. And then they were like, but we like video games.
We're like, but video games are really fun.
Yeah. So they were like, you have fun with that. Like,
see, this is why I liked Ryuji more and more because I was like, you are dumb, but
He's
you are like sweet.
Yeah, he's trying.
He's very earnest.
Yeah.
Also, I like how he's like the last one to like realize that Towa likes Mitsuki.
Oh yeah, I was like, how do you not know that?
Like all the other boys are like talking about it like right in front of him, and he's like, "Wait, what? Who?"
He's like, Towa likes Mitsuki. She's a brat though.
Yeah, yeah. He's like, he's like literally like about to confess to her, and he's like, "Confess to who? Like what?
Who in the what now? Mitsuki? Who's that?
What?"
Oh, I did love the scene since we brought Rui into it. I did love the scene where they're like explaining Rui's complex about being inferior to Towa.
The Valentine's chocolates.
Yeah. And then like, you know, they find out that they both like Mitsuki or whatever. And Towa's like, so we need to talk about how we both like the same girl. And Rui's like, what? Bye. Just like constantly.
He's like, sorry, I didn't hear you. I gotta go now.
Yeah, but then Towa changes the conversation on him since he won't listen. He's just like, half of the chocolates were for Grandpa. Just like, don't be mad about it, Rui.
This is a really important grudge that he's held since like 4th grade or whatever.
Yeah. And I was like, ooh, that was smooth. I love it.
Like, isn't it also like Kyosuke who in his memory banks has like records of like all these like weird grudges that they had when they were like 8.
I liked that moment because it showed how they interact with each other though, right? Like they're not always just like this conglomerate foursome, right? Like they do have different friendships individually with each other, and I like that. Yeah, because that's also very true to life. Not from my like hockey's perspective, but also from like having a close like being part of a foursome in high school. It's like, oh yeah, like sometimes you're like really close to one person, and then you're like, okay, we've had a bit of a thing, so you go to like a different person and become close to them, and they like serve different purposes. So I'm like, yes, this dynamic is very real.
Yeah, I agree, and it's like interesting too between the 4 of them because it like even though they're different ages. Like it's not really like an age thing. No.
Kyosuke and Ryuji are opposites.
Yeah.
But they're the same age.
Yeah, they're not the same maturity level.
No. Oh, I do love these basketball boys. Oh, whatever. Oh my god.
Sweet, sweet basketball boys.
Sweet basketball boys. Oh, and as of this moment, neither of us has even, unless you have like some secret like early library copy. I don't know.
No, I don't.
Neither of us has read the final volume full of the short stories. So
no, I actually haven't read the volume before that either because I've been like, no, well, because I've been saving it because this podcast kept getting like pushed off, and I was like, it needs to be fresh in my mind.
Kelly. Oh, all right.
I was like, I must wait so that I can like give my full reaction to it in case it like gets delayed for another 6 months.
I am very excited then to Here are your thoughts. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
No, I don't get any secret library access. In fact, I think my library gets books like 3 months after like the rest
Yeah, you're like,
of
actually,
the
it's really gonna be a
world.
pain in the butt.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go track it down because COVID has
like, I
not
might have
done
to spend
good
$10
things
on this.
to the supply lines for the libraries.
Oh no. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, with that major revelation, I'm like, oh shit, we're gonna get like, Kelly's raw feelings about
Yeah,
volume
you're gonna
13,
get my
14.
true raw feelings, unlike these volumes, which I read like 3 times.
Yeah, like, I'm tired of these volumes.
Because we kept being like, oh, it got delayed again.
Sorry. Go man. All right, well, yeah, I mean, all right, so this was the first half of Waiting for Spring, and if we didn't make you want to read it, like, you're really wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, if you don't want to read this, then like, what are you reading?
What are you reading? Yeah, I have questions.
And do you even like shoujo?
Do you even like shoujo manga? Yeah, like, what?
What are you here for?
I'm actually really excited to talk about the second half. I think everything I'm like most excited about does happen in volume 13, or maybe I misremember, but like, my god, Kelly, it's gonna be great.
I'm very excited.
You should be. Anyway, everybody, thanks for listening to Shoujo and Tell. Comments, questions, constructive criticism, concerns. Need to gush about your OTP, which better only be Mitsuki and Towa, because otherwise you're wrong. Email shoujoandtell@gmail.com or leave a comment on the episode's YouTube page. I'm very aggressive about this manga. Like, there's
I
only
hope
one
you
right.
get like a bunch of tweets that are like, Aya's the best.
Oh my god, if people
We're
defend
the ones who voted
no.
for him in the character population.
No.
And we're coming for you.
All right, yeah, wait, actually, if you like Aya, you know, like, if he's your favorite character, please explain to me why. I do want to know.
I do feel like in another, sorry to derail your outro, but like, I feel like in another manga, like Aya could be like the like hero, and we would see his pushiness as like exciting, but not in this one.
Not in this one. Nope. We're at Shoujo and Tell on Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram. If you're gonna tell me why you like Aya. Kelly, where can people find you and your work on the internet?
Okay, if you're gonna tell Ashley why you like Aya, make sure you do it on every platform so she really gets the message.
Yeah, every single.
You can find me and my hot takes on Twitter at KellyCute, and then you can still find a lot of manga reviews and roundups on the defunct Barnes & Noble Sci-Fi and Fantasy blog.
R.I.P. Barnes & Noble Sci-Fi and Fantasy blog.
R.I.P.
It's very tragic news. We both learned something today about books, I think, so. Are you excited every time you see a new episode from us? If so, please consider leaving a rating on Apple Podcasts. This will help the show reach more hearts, or at least ears. Thanks again for listening. As I said, we'll be back next time for the second half of Waiting for Spring. That's volumes 8 through 14. And if we're not something, it's Kodansha's fault. The wait for spring will truly be over, finally. Stay tuned. Until then, bye. I've been waiting for Spring to finish for so long that I always actually flirted with like making a separate podcast just for waiting. Like, I was gonna call it Waiting for Spring.
At least it has like a good punny name.
I think I wanted to make it just for the punny name.